Let's first welcome to the ring from Argentina, Miguel Cesario Antin.
Well, a warm welcome everybody to the Bournemouth International Centre here on the South Coast. You're joined by myself, Darren Rees, Archie Sharp and Ezra Taylor. We're getting straight down to business tonight. Miguel Antin is the first fighter into the ring, and Thomas Schreiber will now announce his opponent.
And now let's welcome to the ring, Henry the Showman Turner.
And here comes the showman, Henry Turner. The last time we saw him was in a brutal, gruelling, yet captivating contest for the British and Commonwealth super lightweight titles back in October against Jack Rafferty. That was on the undercard of Nick Ball versus Ronnie Rios. Turner may not have come away with a win that night, but he showed how much grit, determination, and at 24 years old, the fight which is left within him.
This bout is scheduled for 8 rounds in the welterweight division. Brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions, along with their great sponsors, Riyadh Season, 32 Red, That Prize Guy, and Unibet. Our timekeeper is Stephen Pucci, and when the bell rings, our referee in charge and scoring this contest will be Lee Every. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing red, white, and gold, and weighed in officially at 10 stone, 9 pounds. Coming to us from El Bolsón, Argentina, he brings a professional record consisting of 20 wins, 19 defeats, 1 draw, 8 of those 20 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miguel Cesario Antin. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing brown trunks with pink and weighed in officially at 10 stone, 8 pounds. Hailing from High Wycombe, England, he has a professional record of 13 wins, just 1 defeat. 5 of those 13 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former WBC International Champion, Henry the Showman Turner.
I'll get through this European title. He believes he can deliver me a world title shot, so hopefully one day fight the same
Okay,
areas.
lads, when I say stop, you stop boxing. When I say break, take a step back. Keep your hands up, protect yourself at all times. Good luck to you both. Good luck.
Well, here we go, the first bout of the evening here at the Bournemouth International Centre.
Seconds out, round 1.
Collision on the coast. Miguel Antin from Argentina in the red and gold shorts. Henry Turner in the brown and pink shorts, straight to business in that southpaw stance. Welcome along, you're joined by myself, Darren Rees. My co-coms are Archie Sharp and Ezra Taylor, who we will catch up properly with in between rounds. But a nice relaxed start so far, guys, from Turner, who's boxing with in that southpaw stance and trying to take the centre of that ring nicely.
He's boxing really well. Started off nice, yeah.
I like how Turner's keeping the range. He's not smothering his shots, he's popping it, and like you said, Darren, he's got a good control of the centre of the ring, and that's what you want from a first round anyway.
It's good. Turner just got through with a nice straight left hand there. Antin just kind of rode that punch on the ropes, and he will be wary.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to this one. It's his first one up at 147.
And he looks very big for the weight, so...
I was just going to say that he does look big for the weight, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks very, very big for the weight.
It was massive at 140.
Nice body shot there from Henry Turner. As I said in his intro the last time we saw him, he was a cracking fight with Jack Rafferty. Really, really good contest. Well, he was well up on the cards before he got stopped, but here he goes. He's really going for it now in the opening rounds of this contest. He'll be keen to get the job done and get himself back to winning ways.
Yeah, 100%. I think Turner's probably, realised that he has the power, maybe even the dominance to affect Untin. You just got to do it in a
lovely shot
in a way
there.
like that.
Every shot which he's throwing is really spiteful. You can see how much he means every punch which he's landing.
I don't think this is going to go past this first round.
And Untin looks pretty hurt there. Big deep breath through his nose, and Turner stepping on the foot straight away. And the referee jumps in, and he's seen quite enough. And after that defeat at the end of last year, Turner will be excited to be back in there, and even more so to get a win as quickly as that, Archie.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what he needed. Getting their first round stoppage. Very strong in the way. I've done many rounds with Henry Turner. He's a great kid. And yeah, I'm really excited to see his journey at 147 now. Likewise,
Ezra. You're 10-0, so there's been no bouncing back from defeats yourself, but in the mind of a fighter, he must be feeling really positive right now, and there'll be a buzz when he walks back to that dressing room, right?
Yeah, 100%, and I guess it's a good confidence booster, moving up weight, being able to dispatch someone the way he did. He probably wanted a bit more, but even so, we don't get paid for overtime, so going in there, doing what he did, in the way he did as well, because he looked good all the way up until the stoppage, so it's something that him and his team can be proud of for sure.
He looks in really good shape, and like you guys mentioned, he looks like he looks big for the weight, so it'll be interesting to see how he campaigns and whether he can continue to make the weight comfortably as his career goes on.
I've said from day one though, Henry Turner's got a lot to offer in this sport. I know that referee was a great fight last time. I had Henry up more or less the whole way until what happened in the 10th round, but like I say, I'll keep repeating myself. I say I'm looking for his journey, because what it is, when he first turned pro, I said from day dot that this kid's going to be special.
He is. Well, Thomas Tribal will tell us the official time of the rounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 2 minutes, 16 seconds of round number 1. Our referee in charge, Lee Every, waves off the contest. Therefore, your winner by way of technical knockout, Henry the Showman Turner.
Big smiles all round in the Turner camp as he just poses for pictures there. And I'm sure he'll be back in that gym pretty soon after it going just over half a round, and it will be straight back to business, and he'll be keen and eager to get back in there. But guys, welcome along. Have you been to the Bournemouth International Centre before for boxing?
First time for myself.
First time for myself as well, and I enjoy it, man. We've got the seagulls and the seaside outside. It's nice. And you know what? This venue reminds me of the same atmosphere as at York Hall. It feels like a little gladiator stadium because the way the tiers are. But yeah, man, it's been nice here, so I'm looking forward to a great night of boxing.
It's really good to see, because obviously fighters like Ryan Garner and Crispin and Smith are doing a lot for South Coast boxing, and that you're now starting to get events not just in London or Manchester or Nottingham or Birmingham in the major cities, but we're starting to see fights and we're starting to see cards in places like this. And this show's got a bit of a throwback feel to it. Like you said, we're down by the seaside, there's punching Julie on the beach and boxing in the evening. You can't beat it, and it also does a lot for a lot of the kind of up-and-coming boxers who may not get other opportunities elsewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It's good, man. It's good, I've never been to Bournemouth before. It's the first time. So, without boxing, I wouldn't be here. So, I guess, Queensberry and the team are doing a great thing.
And there's some great talent down here, like you said. Obviously, you've got Smith, Gardner, Royston. I believe Royston's not too far from here himself.
Yeah, got Royston and Barney Smith as well.
Chamberlain's not too far from down the road either.
And Mark Chamberlain's in Portsmouth, yeah, so there's a real good scene building on the South Coast, and you're going to see many of them this evening on this card.
And Mace Farid as well.
Yep, that's it.
Against Dylan Smith. boxing me and Dylan.
No, there's plenty of talent which is coming out, and it really is it's a good thing to see. And what you said, Ezra, about this venue is absolutely spot on. I remember watching Chris Billam-Smith versus Isaac Chamberlain in here, and it was absolutely roaring because it is a real tight, compact venue, and there'll be some good noise in here. And I think it's pretty much sold out, this place. So by the time that Ryan Garner comes out to fight for this European title fight, we should have a real good atmosphere in here tonight, and he'll be buzzing for it. But for him, the opportunity that he really wants, being a Southampton fan, is he wants to fight in the Southampton Stadium, which brings me on to my question, if I can get it in before the next fight comes on. Archie, dream location for a fight for you?
For myself, as a kid, it's always been Vegas. I want to go to Vegas. I boxed in some good places over here in the UK, at Royal Albert Hall, the O2, and obviously the York Hall. So I've boxed in some I've been grateful and fortunate to box in some good places here. But yeah, for me, Vegas. I want to go to Vegas, and now Saudi as well.
Very good. Yeah, well, I tell you what, everybody wants to go to Saudi for the boxing. Ezra, what about you?
Me, you know what? I'll probably have to mirror Archie with that. You know, Vegas has always been like the mecca of boxing from when we was growing up and looking at boxing. Obviously, Saudi Arabia is a beautiful place as well, and everything's going off over there. But see, with me, I'm very proud to be fighting at my dream location, which is Nottingham. I'm fighting on the 10th of May in Nottingham. That is my dream location. That's where I'm from. So a homecoming is always an amazing thing. So yeah, man, I've got no limit. You know what I'm saying? Sky's the limit. I'll go anywhere. I'll even come back to the big international.
Yeah, why not? Why not? There are some terrific venues out there. You've both boxed at York Hall, haven't you?
Yeah, I've had many fights at York Hall, yeah.
So what's York Hall like to boxing? Because everyone talks about, you've got to go to York Hall, it's the most amazing venue in the world. It's a great venue to watch boxing. What's it like when you're actually in that ring there?
Yeah, the atmosphere is unbelievable, especially when you're in a good fight. I've been in some good fights there, and like you say, everyone's on. There's not a bad seat in the house, so everyone is blessed to see such great boxing in the arena, you know.
It's true.
Do you feel like they're fighting, like the crowd are on top of you because of the balcony? Yeah. Like, because when I've sat on that balcony, I feel like I can reach over and touch the fighters.
Yeah. If you sit too close, you can get a bit of blood on you. That's for sure. That is for sure. The ringside is really ringside, and even like the standard tickets, you're really in it, and that's what you want as a boxing fan. If I'm watching boxing, I want to be as close as possible. I want to feel it, and that place is like. It's one of those ones where if it's cold outside, you're feeling it inside, and if it's hot in there, it's a sauna. I fought in June. Yeah. I fought in June in York Hall. I'm telling you, it felt like I was fighting in a sauna. But again, these are the experiences you need. These are the things to tick off as a boxer in your career, especially if you're a British boxer as well. So yeah, man, I feel like it's the making. It's like an initiation of being a professional boxer, I believe.
I've boxed there when it's full. And I've also boxed there when it's empty, behind closed doors. And
it's still hot, is it?
It was still hot.
And it's still boiling hot. Well, let's hope that we see both of you at some point in Vegas and at some point in Saudi as well, because there'll be great places to go. One of my favourite places I've ever been for boxing is Madison Square Garden. I don't know if either of you have ever been there, but I watched Joshua fight Andy Ruiz Jr. there, and it was just incredible. Is that one on the list?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, that's on the list as well. There's some great venues.
Yeah, see, I went to go and watch Terence Crawford versus Sean Porter, I believe, at the MGM, and that was an insane arena. You know, when you're walking down, and then the way it was like a coliseum. But there's so many different venues. Like I said, Madison Square Gardens, MGM. They've got good ones now in over America. T-Mobile Arena, they got that as well. They have so many out there, you know. But I feel like British boxing right now in the UK stamp. We're bringing boxing alive. We're making it alive, and we've got all these venues. We've got O2, we've got Wembley. That's it, you know. Tyson Fury's been there, AJ's been there. So fingers crossed we're able to replicate the greats, and then me and Archie, we should be at these venues at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. And you're right, British boxing is booming. It's doing some wonderful things. When you look at cards all around the world, there are British and Irish fighters on some of the biggest cards going. But let's talk a little bit about a couple of the fighters on this card tonight. And you guys have been working for Queensberry this week, doing the press conference and doing the weigh-in. Ezra, we need to talk about the co-main event, because obviously there was a bit of a spat between you and Louis Edmondson. He come off stage, just weighed in with his shades on in Bournemouth, and you told him what for. Where did that start with you two? Like, was it a bit of you to start with, or was it a bit of a him? Like, where did that come from? Because I think it's the first time you ever met yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, first time I seen the guy in the flesh. I'll be honest, I'm just focused on what's in front of me, and obviously he's light heavy and he's doing his thing, which I commend him for, but I was never focused on him. I was focused on what's in front of me. He was behind me in a certain way. Now he's got these British titles and these Commonwealth titles. You could say that we're on par. You know, I've got the WBC International, and I want to fight him. I'm a British boxer. I want the British belt. He has it, and I think the power is getting to his head a little bit, Darren. But you know, in due time, I'm going to make myself get into a mandatory position, so he has to fight me. I'm a fighter, and I want the best fights. He's a very good fighter. He's undefeated. Hopefully, he stays and remains undefeated after tonight. So then he can come and see me, and we can do what is right. You know, I can make justice of being a British champion. I see a British champion in me. I don't see it in him. So, and I believe personally, again, no disrespect, I feel like he lost that fight against Dan Aziz.
I was going to ask you what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, I feel like personally Dan Aziz did a bit more, but again, I'm not a judge for a reason, so I couldn't tell you what they've seen. But he's a champion now. Let's not disregard that. He's fighting tonight. I hope he wins, so I get to fight him, and then he's going to lose.
I heard you say yesterday you hope he wins. Is that because it just makes it more of a meaningful fight because the Commonwealth is on the line again if they get that fight over the line with you two?
100%, man. I want to fight for all the marbles. I don't want to, I don't want it to be dispatched. You know, he loses tonight and then Tosin's got the Commonwealth. Now I've got to see this guy for the Commonwealth. I've got to see this guy for the... I'm a bit lazy, Darren. Let me just fight. Let me just fight the guy with... Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Let's fight the guy with all the things that I want, and then we'll take it from there. And again, like I said, it's not about me trying to chase it for the belt. I've also got the WBC International belt. That's the WBC is the most prestigious belt. You can come see me as well. I think he thinks he's the only champion. Bless him. But obviously, like I said, all in due time, and it's good. I feel like boxing needs these type of things. When I was coming up, I'm still coming up. You call me a prospect. I'm coming out my prospect stage. I had Ben Whittaker. He was a little bit of my rival. Obviously, he had his own route going over there with Liam Cameron. Hope he does well as well, so I get to see him later on down the line. But in boxing, we need a bit of spice. We need a bit of, back and forth. We like personalities and characters, but we also like great boxers, and I feel like I'm one of them. Louis, not so much, but again, time will tell, innit?
Just another quick one on the light heavyweight division. Maybe the best division in British boxing at the moment. When you look at like the fight we've just seen between Callum Smith and Joshua Buatsi, like fight of the year contender, right? And then and also just having a look around and looking at the rankings in terms of light heavyweight in the British scene, the amount of fights that you could have going forward are nuts.
Crazy, it's great, and it's amazing. It's a great time right now because obviously that Archie was talking about, Saudi just opened up as well. That wasn't there a few years ago. So the fights that didn't seem possible are now possible now, you know what I'm saying? So regardless of the promoter or whatever else. So it's up to me to get myself in a prime position, which I feel like I'm heading towards. And like you said, there's so many more fights. There's Anthony Yarde versus Lyndon Arthur happening soon. Willie Hutchins going to fight Zach Parker. Zach Parker's come up to light heavyweight. It's all kicking off. Shakan's fighting for the European. And Ezra Taylor's still there in the mix right now. Before I used to sit on the sidelines, but I'm really here now. So it's an exciting time, very exciting.
It's a really good place. Well, let's have a look at the full card for this evening, and there is plenty coming up. So later on we've got Mace Rueg, who steps in to fight Liam Dillon after our man Archie Sharp had to withdraw from that fight, and we'll speak to him about that in a moment. And then we've got 7-0 Charles Franken back tonight for the first time in over 2 years. And a bit of a fun fact for you, if you didn't know this, his granddad was Johnny Franken, who famously fought Muhammad Ali. And not only did he fight him, he put Muhammad Ali on the canvas. So boxing really does run in the blood of Charles Franken. And then Moses Atauma's older brother, Karol Atauma, is in a 6-rounder. He won Olympic gold at the Youth Games in 2018. However, a little while ago he had a shock knockout defeat on the undercard of Artur Beterbiev versus Anthony Yarde. Talking about the light heavyweight divisions we were just a moment ago. But he's been back with 3 straight wins, and he'll be looking to make that 4 out of 4. We've got Luke McCormack, who's looking to make it 3-0 as a pro and do the same sort of job which his brother Pat McCormack did just the other day with Robbie Davies Jr., and he looked really sensational in that fight. Then it's the co-main event where British and Commonwealth champion Louis Edmondson defends his Commonwealth title against Gregores, and our man Ezra will be keeping one eye on him, as we've already discussed. Then Ryan Garner fights Spanish man Salvador Jimenez for the European Super Featherweight title. So we don't know much about this Salvador Jimenez, do we? We were talking about him earlier because he's never boxed outside of Spain, but you were telling me earlier on, Archie, that he fought someone that you fought. So if you just explain that for us.
I boxed in Leeds a couple of years ago against Alex Rapp, and them two boxed, and I think it was a close fight. So I've got good confidence in Ryan Garner to make a show tonight, and I think he probably will stop this kid.
Well, we look forward to seeing him later on. But let's have a little chat to you, Archie. So you were meant to be on this card tonight. Illness put you out of it.
Yeah, unfortunately I fell ill. And I'll be honest with you, it's only been the last few days that I've managed to kind of shake it off. So there was no chance I was going to be fit and well to be able to fight tonight. So unfortunately we had to make the decision and pull the fight. But yeah, like I say, one door closes, another door opens, and we'll see, God willing, in the near future we'll have some news.
So hopefully we might hear something in the coming weeks about a fight with yourself. Are you going to be sticking around super featherweight, or are we going to be moving up?
No, 130's, I'll be honest with you, I overstayed 130 a couple of fights ago, and I think the Garner fight, obviously with the outcome of that, it kind of just ticked that box to say, look, you got to go now, go up to 135. So that's what we're doing, and I'm looking forward to that journey. I feel a lot better for it in the gym. Yeah, just 130 was just too much for me, mate. It was too tight.
Why do you think, this has always fascinated me with fighters, I've never boxed like you guys have, and when it comes to weight divisions, I hear a lot about fighters saying, I stayed at a certain weight for too long. What happens there? What stops you from moving up?
So I turned pro when I was 20 years old, so I'm 29 now, so 9 years I've been making 130. I was highly ranked for it. I was number one in the WBO, so I was chasing that world title fight for a long time. I was there for 2 years at number one, and I suppose if they say it's like dangling a carrot, you know, after this fight you're going to get your shot. So I kind of was just standing at 130 hoping that world title call was going to happen, and unfortunately back in July last year, July, against obviously Garner, it didn't go my way, and unfortunately it was just I had to make that decision with like a harsh outcome, you know, losing my unbeaten record and have to have my first defeat as a pro. But yeah, like I say, we move on. 135 is the new weight, and I'm really excited. And British rankings, there's a lot of good fights, but even better so worldwide. You know, there's some great fighters out there at world level. You've got Shakur Stevenson, who boxed last week. Gervonta Davis is around the 135 mark. Keyshawn Davis, you know what I mean? There's some good
fighters, really good fighters. So your fight with Ryan Garner, I was there for that, the O2 Arena. It was on the undercard of Joe Joyce versus Del Boy Derek Chisora. Great atmosphere in there that night, wasn't it?
Oh, brilliant. That's what I mean. Being at the O2 co-main event, it was packed, and it was a great atmosphere. I know the outcome wasn't great for myself, but I really enjoyed the night, really enjoyed the build-up. It's the first time in a long time I've been in a good fight. I think 2019 was my last active sort of year in big fights, and then since then it's been one fight a year. So being back at the O2 in a big fight, and I've really enjoyed it.
What does Ryan Garner do well?
He's consistent, you know. He brings the pressure. He stays
good
there.
Pressure fighter.
Yeah, he's a good pressure fighter, you know. And look, we knew we was coming up, and we know that's what he does. But he does it well. And unfortunately, I held my feet and I boxed his game plan. That's what he also is good at. He's good at kind of drawing you into that sort of fight, you know. And I think that's what he'll do here. But I believe this other kid, he will come to fight. But I think Garner will be too much, you know. He's a fit kid.
Ezra, some of these guys on the build tonight. So, you know, Luke McCormack looking to go 3-0. I know he was a very good amateur, but guys at the start of their careers, what are they going to learn tonight about? What do you learn in your first few fights? That's what I'm getting to. And how important are these kind of bouts to them in these sort of venues on these shows?
You know what? They're very important, and it sounds crazy. It's like the little things of punching a man in the head with 10-ounce gloves, or even 8-ounce gloves with some of the lighter weights. You know what I'm saying? Archie's trying to box with 8, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit different. when you're in there, these ropes, to me, they're a bit smaller than the ropes that I train in. The lights are bright, you know. there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of probably pressure as well. And I just feel like it's something to soak up the experience. You're probably not in there against the hardest opponent, but you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself, but you also want to perform. You got your family, your friends coming, especially if it's like maybe your second fight, your third fight. They're making their way out. That you want to put on a show for them, whether it be a knockout. 9 times out of 10 it is that. But then you also want to make it entertaining for people. You want to be able to solidify your spot as, you know, a professional boxer that's moving up. So it's important, man. It really is important to take in everything as it is. Even if you don't have a great performance, it's still something that you learn from. Because at this stage, in anyone's career, I feel like, unless you're like a super elite boxer and, you know, you're a verified champion, every fight's a learning fight. So you just got to take it in your stride. But I feel like these venues, these experiences on the undercards are an amazing thing.
And Archie, the away corner fighters, the journeymen, whatever you want to call them, the road warriors, they get a bit of jip, I guess, sometimes from some people. And I find sometimes some boxing fans might not respect the person who you're fighting in the early days of your career and say, well, they've got 81 losses and only 10 wins or whatever else. But there's so much to be learned, isn't there, when you're fighting these guys who know their way around the ring, they know every trick in the book. What's it like fighting some of these tough away corner fighters, and how does that develop you as a fighter?
I feel like it's needed because I've been in the game a long time and I've seen a lot of talent come through and turning over from the amateurs to the pro, and they think, because they're a better ability and they've been boxing better ability through their amateur career, they feel like they're just going to get in there and I don't know if you agree, but they just walk straight through them. But when they realise that they tuck up, you know what I mean, like you said, they've got the tricks of the trade, and they can catch these kids coming through. I've seen a few get knocked out because of it. Because you need, do you know what I mean? You need to learn. Like people give the away fighters stick, but that they're there for a reason. You need to learn the game. You need to learn the sport, and also nerves as well. Like the fighters that are coming through, good prospects coming through, they're not used to this crowd, they're not used to the pressure, and I think that takes it. So I know fighters that have turned over pro and they want to jump straight into a 6 or 8 round fight, but they need their 4 rounds, because them 4 rounds feel like doing 6 or 8, you know, because of the pressure, because of the 8 hours, it's all new to them. So I feel like these journeys, it's needed, you know. You get the odd couple of fighters, i.e. Pat McCormick, he doesn't really need them, he's ready for title fights now, but 9 times out of 10, I do believe the away fighters are needed. Them fights are needed.
I just want to touch on something you said there with nerves. So Ezra, when you take yourself back to your first fight, I mean, were you nervous when you came in? Or like, is there anything you would have said to that fighter then that you would now, which you know, in terms of like, I don't know, preparation or just like going through a process and knowing that actually it's all going to be all right?
Yeah, everything I just said. Just relax and enjoy it. I went out there. I had my first fight in Nottingham at a leisure centre, so I just felt like the man. I was like, oh yeah, I sold a lot of tickets. I've gone out there to try and make a statement. In my head, I was putting pressure on myself to go and do that. But as Archie probably knows, you know, when you're most relaxed and you're in control of what you're gonna do, that's when the best boxer comes out, and that's what you should do. So my advice to anyone coming up, just relax. It's hard, easier said than done, but just relax and the best will come out of you.
Well, it looks like we are ready to go to our next fight of the evening, and our MC, Thomas Triber, is ready.
Let's now welcome to the ring from Mexico, Alexander El Tyson Morales.
Well, here he is, Alexander Morales, the man from Mexico who calls himself El Tyson. He's had 19 fights so far in his professional career, and to tell you the truth, it's been a bit of an inconsistent journey with a mixture of wins and losses, and over a quarter of his bouts have ended in draws.
And now let's welcome to the ring from England, the undefeated Joesph Bad Boy Butler.
And here is his opponent, Joesph Butler, hailing from the South Coast of England. A perfect 5-0 record to his name. He grew up on a traveller site where boxing wasn't just a sport, It was a way of life for him. It was a family bound by the ropes and the gloves, and boxing runs deep within his blood, which he has said so many times before. From a young age, Butler was said to be sparring with grown men in the gym, and as a teenager he was known for knocking big, strong adults over.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 6 rounds in the lightweight division. Brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions, along with their great sponsors, Riot Season, 32 Red, That Prize Guy, and Unibet. Our timekeeper is Stephen Pucci, and when the bell rings, our referee in charge and scoring this contest will be Kieran McCann. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing black with pink and weighed in officially at 9 stone, 8 pounds. Coming to us from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, he brings a professional record consisting of 5 wins, 8 defeats, 5 draws, 2 of those 5 wins coming by way of a knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alexander El Tyson Morales. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing black with gold and weighed in officially at 9 stone, 10 pounds. Hailing from West Sussex, England, he had a stellar amateur career, becoming a national champion, and now as a professional is undefeated with 5 victories. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Joesph Bad Boy Butler.
Alexander, in come. Joesph, here. Right, boys, listen up. You both know the rules. You will obey my command at all times. When I tell you to break clean. Take a step back, throw no punches. Mind your heads in close, and most importantly, lads, protect yourself at all times, all right? Shake hands.
Well, here we go, bout number 2 of the evening here on the South Coast in Bournemouth at the International Centre. Joesph Butler looking very cool and calm in the black and gold shorts, comes lunging out with a straight left hand against El Tyson in the black and pink from Mexico. And I've got to say, guys, he really did look very comfortable in there before that first bell went, didn't he, Archie?
Yeah, definitely. I'm intrigued by this one. We were saying yesterday at the weigh-in, they both got the good names for it, ready for it.
Yeah, that's it for sure. And you know what? Butler came in with an air of confidence when he had a smile on his face. He looks like he was born for it, like you were saying. He looks like he's from a fighting family, and it looks like another day in the office for him. And we'll see what Morales has to offer. He's got good movement so far, but obviously it's very early in the fight.
Yeah, he's not here to hang about, is he? He's looking to get this kid out of here.
Well, Butler, doing my research for this fight, just said that he loves the fighting and the sparring part. If he could just do that and get rid of the rest of the stuff, the running and the pad work, etc., he would. It's just what he really enjoys doing and what he lives for. And like I said in the intro, he comes from a fighting family, and he is getting straight down to business here at the Bic. And the shots which you're throwing are pretty heavy shots, and we're just a couple of feet away from both of these fighters, and you can hear them thud as they land.
Yeah, he's putting in some oomph into them shots. It's good. It's exciting for us, especially with being so close. You can feel the shots.
Morales is from the fighting city in Mexico known as Guadalajara. Many of you will know Canelo Alvarez being from Guadalajara, but also doing a bit of research. There are so many multiple weight world champions, Mexicans, who have come from that city. So it's a real fighting city in itself, but the Mexican finds himself on the back foot, and he's just having to dig deep here and come back and try and fight Butler off.
Is there a little cut there? I think there's a cut from Butler.
Yeah, Cutler is cut just above.
The right eye.
Sorry, Butler is cut just above the right eye.
And that's always something you got to be careful when you know, orthodox versus a southpaw. It's the head clashes that could come through. I think it may have been a head clash because I think Morales is throwing some shots back and he's caught him clean, but I don't know if it's been, you know, caused from a shot.
Yeah, I agree.
But speaking on Morales being Mexican, they're as tough as it gets, I'll be honest. So he's sustaining all the pressure on the shots, but he's still there in his game.
He'll definitely be game. Morales turned over as a pro at 16 years old is something which is very common in Mexico, and they are as tough as they come, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly that. They are. Well, it speaks for itself. You know, all the great champions, the great fighters have come from there. This kid seems tough. Like I say, Butler come out, he wasn't hanging around, and he's managed to weather that first round. And it'll be interesting to see how Butler is moving forward, because no one wants to punch himself out. That's another thing you've got to be careful of in this early on in your career. You don't want to start punching yourself out to please the crowd, you know.
I was going to touch on that, Ezra. This is a 6-round contest. He'd come out with his foot on the gas in that round. Maybe a little too fast on the start, or are you confident he'll be all right and he'll see it through?
I'll be honest, I'm not too sure. I don't really know too much about Butler. Obviously, he seems very excited to get to it straight away, and that's great. If you can sustain that pressure for 6 rounds, it's doable, it's possible, but if you can't, it can be a long night in there. So for his sake and his team's sake, he can.
Well, let's see how this round goes. Will it be the same start that it was in the first round? Butler straight out in that southpaw stance, in those black and gold shorts with the white boots, and putting the pressure on immediately. Nice little turn there from Butler as he threw a 1-2 upstairs and the lead hook into the body.
Yeah, I think Butler's best off working the body here with the Mexican.
Yeah, what he's doing right now, staying in front of him, you know, enforcing his presence. This is what he needs to do. This is less energy exerting as well, and as you can see, he's popping his shots a bit better. He's not smothering it.
And he got caught there, didn't he, Butler, with that lead hook, but retaliated, and I think it was a straight left hand which got through and hit Morales. It looks like in this round so far, Butler looking to just gauge that distance and get it right, where before he was smothering him and not giving him any time to breathe or think.
Yeah, he's getting that right foot just on the outside of the orthodox stance, which is exactly what he needs to be doing really as a southpaw. He's working that well.
I'd like to see a bit more from Morales. I know he's probably waiting and just, you know, gauging what Butler has, but again, time's ticking and he's not really doing too much as of trying to win the round, I don't believe.
He just seems to be, the Mexican just seems to be kind of biding his time, doesn't he, and waiting for an opportunity, and he might leave it too late. Yeah. Butler just being nice and busy with that jab, isn't he? Trying to kind of disrupt any attacks which Morales is even thinking about making.
Yeah, it's good work from Butler. This is the type of boxing I'd probably like to see, even from round one, just because he's using his lead on well. He's drawing out shots. He's able to pick certain shots, as you can see, and he's not falling in. And that's, I think the first round is falling in quite a bit, and that's where he got caught. And he probably would have avoided the head clash as well if he boxed like this. But it's much better from Butler, I believe. Yeah,
Butler looks very well schooled. You can see that boxing has been in him for a long time because he's very well schooled.
For sure.
Butler has been boxing since he was around 5 years old. That's when he kind of remembers the first time sticking a pair of boxing gloves on.
Yeah, you can definitely tell.
And then I think he turned over relatively young as well and just thought that the pro game would suit him a bit better. And there were some challenges, or there has been some challenges since 2019 when he turned over as a pro, but they're behind him now and he's focused and ready to try and have a nice, busy, active 2025. And this is solid work from Butler, who just stands there in the centre of the ring and puts his shots together nicely.
He's looking for that solar plex, the left.
A more composed round there, Ezra, from Butler. Certainly wasn't like the first round.
Yeah, very good. Like I said, that's my type of boxing. You know, being technical, looking for the shot, seeing what's there instead of trying to force it. Again, Morales, he can still be someone to worry about because he hasn't done too much, so we don't really know what he's got. We know that he's tough and he's durable, clearly. But again, this is round 3 coming up, and he hasn't done too much. Butler seems like he's on top, and he's probably only going to rise in confidence.
Butler is 2 rounds up comfortably, Archie.
Yeah, comfortably 2 rounds up. I'm just looking at him now in the corner. He looks relaxed, looks composed, smiling away there. So yeah, I think his fitness level seems to be good. And I say that because people think, well, it's only round 2, but you know where he's early on in his career. Sometimes, when I was saying about out-punching yourself, doing too much too early, but it doesn't seem like it's affecting him. Like he's ready to get straight to that centre.
Well, here we go, round 3 of this one,
touch.
scheduled for 6.
Yeah, we keep saying Morales is going to touch the gloves, just to let people know you can't do that in professionals. You shouldn't do that. You could get knocked out doing that too.
Yeah, Butler was having none of that. And he's just having a look there, trying to fire off that straight left hand of his. He's yet to stop anyone in his professional career so far, but I remember when he was an amateur and just hearing little whispers about this kid on the South Coast who was heavy-handed in the amateurs, and this is good work here from Butler, who landed and sunk in a nice straight left hand, and a flurry of punches came before it and afterwards.
Yeah, that was very good work, but again, he started throwing his combinations, probably got a bit careless with his defence and got caught by Morales, but that was very good work overall though.
I must say, this is the first time I've seen Butler, and I'm very impressed with what he's doing.
Yeah, I like it too.
Morales really needs to get a bit busier, in my opinion. He hasn't done anywhere near enough in the 2 opening rounds. But do you think I'm being unfair in saying that? And that's because of the good work which Butler's doing and not allowing him to? Yeah,
I think he's just a little bit too cautious to want to throw with Butler, because Butler has got speed and obviously he packs power as well. So I think he's just a little bit wary to let his hands go in case he gets caught flush.
Yeah, but he is game enough to throw a shot in the exchange that will stop, I guess, Butler's combinations. He's still making it difficult. As you can see, he keeps moving back. He's got his guard up. As you can see, look, he's not... or not.
When he got caught there, and most of the shots...
These are the exchanges I was on about that Butler needs to be careful for, because he's throwing overhand rights and lefts. When you're throwing shots, it's easy to get caught with those type of shots, and those are the ones that you don't see, and those are the worst ones.
Most of the shots, certainly in this round, which Butler has thrown, have been soaked up on the gloves of Morales, but he does get through ever so often with some shots like that one there, that straight left hand, and then he digs in a right hook under the left elbow of the Mexican, and you could just see the air leave his lungs on that one as he takes a deep breath and tries to get himself back into the fight.
Yeah, that was a beautiful flurry.
As I was saying earlier in the previous round about the body shots, I think that'll work well here, because you do get fighters where sometimes you can throw the kitchen sink at them and they can take it all day round the head, but at the end of the day, the body will break if he keeps chopping away downstairs. I think that's probably his best bet at the minute.
Yeah, 100%. You can. It's crazy. You can take shots to the head, but you know the shots to the body. Doesn't matter how many abs you have. You keep hitting that, you're gonna fold at some point.
Good. Well, there's a bit of mixture in that round. I felt like we saw a little bit of what we saw in the first round and a bit of what we saw in the second round combined there. He's starting to get into his groove now, isn't he, Ezra?
Yeah, I feel like it. Morales could be coming back with it. I think that's probably the most he's done this round, but that was also the most he's been in danger throughout the whole fight. And it's a good fight though. Like we were saying, we was obviously skeptical Butler could keep this up, but he looks like he's just getting better and better, man. And it's a joy to watch.
Agree with that, Archie?
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I think looking now at Butler, he seems like, he looks really composed in the corner. He's looking well.
You're not just looking at the body language of Alexander Morales in the away corner, in that red corner there, and he's not necessarily breathing really heavily and doesn't seem too flustered. And he's up and ready to go quickly, but it would just be nice to see a little bit more from him.
And I'm sure Butler's probably looking to get this stoppage. You would like it, but Morales is making it seem too difficult to be able to get that on him, just because of how, you know, composed he is when he's under fire. But I feel like he needs to back him up into the ropes to get, you know, a good opportunity to probably get that stoppage.
Yeah, as Morales keeps moving, he's just making Butler have to keep resetting.
Butler nice and composed in the first 30 seconds of this round, but still being busy enough to make sure the referee, Kieran McCann, knows he's the person who's doing the most, because he's the person scoring this fight. And I think you're right, Archie. I think he's looking for that shot, isn't he? He's looking for something big, a nice big straight left hand or something which he can land and try and get the job done.
Yeah, and like I say, look for that bolo left. As I said, he threw it, just trying to get on that solar plex. Body shot.
Really good body shot there. Left hook under the right elbow of Morales.
Like I say, when he's hitting Morales in the face, there's not much facial expression, but you know, when he catches him around the body, I feel like he's getting somewhere with him.
Yeah, I feel like Butler's probably landed the cleaner shots to his body, you know, around the sides of his body. And if you see, he makes a great angle when he goes to the right. That shot right there going to the body, and I feel like if he lands that to the solar plex, it could, you know, cause some serious damage.
Corner have done well with the cut as well. That's not bothering him.
Morales going through the motions, defending well the majority of the time, but it's still getting caught. And Kieran McCann there just having a word with Joesph Butler about a shot round the back of the head. Nice. And the blood just starting to trickle down the face of Butler again. Be a bit of work to do in that corner when he goes back. Not much though. Don't think it's having too much of an effect, but not ideal by any means.
It'd be nice to see Butler just touch a little bit more upstairs and then whip the body shots in.
I feel like Butler's enjoying this now. Yeah. Seeing him throw a few shots and he stuck his tongue out. And you know what? You may as well enjoy it at this time. Look, as you can see, he's showing a bit of flair. And it's always nice to see, I guess.
And the Mexican's loving that. Look at the facial expressions on him. I'll tell you what, one of the things I love about this sport so much is when you see, you know, characters and fighters like that, you know, like they might go out there, get an absolute pace and get their body smothered with shots. And there's a huge grin on their face and they're dancing back to the corner.
You can't explain this sport.
You can't at all. You can't at all. This is Darren, you feel alive when you get hit. When you take shots, you feel alive. It doesn't make any sense, but to boxers it does. And to Morales, he looked like he had, probably in that last 10 seconds, he looked like he had the most fun in the whole fight.
Never seen him look so happy since he arrived in sunny Bournemouth, mind you. We didn't see him at the fish and chip parlour, did we, on the pier? Look, loving this, and look, we're giving it just a wink there, and big smiles all round as he gets ready to go out for the next round. What a bonkers sport we work in. And here we go, round 5, a penultimate round of this contest. And Joesph Butler has done a good job so far of showing those people who didn't know who he was, who he is.
Yeah, Butler's good. This fight has been very good. If you haven't seen Butler before, which I haven't, and Archie said he hasn't either, you know, it's a good fight to lay eyes on for the first time, for sure.
Yeah, definitely excited to see him back out again. Being the first time I watched him tonight, definitely keeping a close eye on his career.
And Butler just looking to establish that jab every moment of every round. He's really worked it nicely, body and head, just changing the levels, setting up his other shots with it. A nice defence work there from the Mexican Morales. And there are some very Mexican instructions coming from the red corner.
Yeah, they're very vocal.
Very. I heard a rebound. That means
Yeah,
go,
that's
right?
it,
Come
yeah.
on, hurry or something like that.
Vamos, vamos.
That's the one. Go, go, go. That's what Morales needs to do. But I think Butler's very much in control. I think the confidence probably maxed out now. As you can see, he's throwing his shots at will and he's landing whenever he wants. He looks good doing it too.
Indeed, this has become a bit like target practice, but Morales got through there with a left hook, and the sweat just bounced off of Butler's head and glimmered in the brightness of the lights in the centre of this ring in Bournemouth, and that seems to have woken him up a little bit there, because he's thrown a flurry of punches there, and every single one of them he's really sunk in. Lovely straight left down there from Butler. Solid work there from Joesph Butler.
Yeah, they sound really like thudding shots being so close.
Yeah, they sound hard.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They sound like you can punch.
Very hard. See, but Morales got a cranium made out of concrete or something, or I'm missing the trick here. But they sound very hard, and they look very good too.
I've got to say, Morales, as we come to the end of this 5th round, with 1 to go, this is probably the most lively we've seen him so far.
Yeah, very tough.
Well, this is what you've got coming up later on. Mace Rueg fighting Liam Didham. Charles Franken back for the first time in a couple of years. Always enjoy watching him. A very talented fighter. Karol Atauma is back in a 6th rounder. He's the older brother of Moses Atauma. Luke McCormack, the famous Luke and Pat McCormack twins, back in action, looking to make it 3-0. Then the co-main event is the South Coast, Louis Edmondson versus Nigeria's Kajawa. And then, of course, the big one, our main event this evening, is Ryan Garner, who takes on Salvador Jimenez for the European Super Featherweight title. But there we go, touch of the gloves for the 6th and final round, which has been, let's be honest, a one-sided contest 95% of the time, but somehow it's still been pretty enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, it's been a good fight. From both men. You know, Morales, he's done a great job of obviously defending himself, making it a bit harder for Butler, but Butler's managed to do what I feel like he's came to do. You know, he displayed his skills. He's a very skillful boxer. He's got a bit of flair as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward. Me personally, I'm looking to see what he can do with his career.
I think that's well said, Ezra. He's one of those fighters now that you'll see on a fight poster, and you'll stick around to make sure that you watch him.
Yeah, for sure.
This fight, I think, was needed as well. Like it says here, he's turned pro in 2019.
That's correct,
so
yeah.
he's only had 5 fights. So yeah, I think this is good rounds in the bank, you know.
Definitely.
Really relaxed, stylish boxing now from Joesph Butler, who's enjoyed himself the whole time, but is just in his groove nicely now. And that was a decent overhand left from him, which landed on the face of the Mexican, Alexander Morales, and just slightly knocked him off balance. And then he's straight back to that centre of the ring, working those straight shots.
And Butler's definitely kept up the work rate all the way through. I haven't seen him fade off. He's come straight out to the centre, ready to go and put shots together. So work rate's been good as well.
Yeah, it's been very good. He's been consistent. He's throwing 3s and 4s. And obviously at the later rounds, regardless of how many rounds you're doing, it's still a harder task to do other than how he was doing at the start. And he's keeping it up. That was about 6 shots right there.
Flurries, yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
I think consistent's a really good word to use for this performance, because you're right, he has gone through every single round in the same style there or thereabouts. It's exciting to watch because the work rate's there. You know, he doesn't really kind of take a moment off. He's always doing something, whether that's feinting, move his head, or he's kind of constantly doing some sort of attack.
Yeah, and for fans, that's going to keep your eyes glued, you know. When we see any stagnation or people standing around not doing too much, it's easy to switch off. But with Butler, he keeps it switched on. It's pretty good.
He looks very relaxed, very comfortable. He's got a bright future as well.
But I would like to see Morales do a little bit more. I feel like he's got a bit more in the locker that he's not really bringing out. But
we want to see that L. Tyson.
That's what we want to see.
Well, only 10 seconds left to go in this sixth and final round, which has been a very comfortable fight for Joesph Butler, who has his gum shield knocked out in the last couple of seconds of the round. But the two embrace and show a lot of love and a lot of respect for each other, which is another one of the big reasons we all love boxing, because they can do that and then show the utmost respect straight afterwards. And great to see Morales going over to the corner of Butler and big smiles on his face. Well, I tell you what, Morales is the happiest I've seen him in the fight's over.
And I wouldn't be surprised if I see him do a backflip right now.
Well, Kieran McCann will get the two fighters together. We know which way this one's going. Thomas Triver has the scores, and we shall hear them now.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, our referee in charge, Kieran McCann, scores the contest 60-54 for your winner. And still undefeated, Joesph Bad Boy Butler.
But there you go, the scorecards you were expecting. 60-54. Joesph Butler moves to 6-0, and he just shouted out to somebody at ringside something along the lines of, he is one very tough man. And I think we don't need him to tell us that. We've seen that with our own eyes, haven't we?
We can all agree with that, yeah.
And those two seem to get on like a house on fire. You know, the way that they were chatting afterwards, I wouldn't be surprised if they went for a burrito in a minute or something. And
or fish and chips if we're in Bournemouth, that's for sure.
Great stuff. Always good to see young, up-and-coming fighters do their thing, enjoy what they're doing, and moving through the ranks. So that was bout 2. One more to go on these prelim shows, and then you'll need to get yourselves over to TNT Sports if you're watching in the UK, and if you're watching elsewhere in the world, then you'll be able to watch all the action unfold on DAZN. Now, picking up with a conversation, if we may, from earlier on, I can't remember which one of you said it, but you said, actually it was you, Ezra, you said about fighting in a leisure centre, yeah? What's it like when you go from a leisure centre to fighting on the big shows under the bright lights on a huge platform and broadcaster like TNT? Is it any different, or is it just a boxing ring?
You know what, I feel like that answer there is going to be subjective. For me, there's no difference because it's a ring. It's still the same ring that I put the work in every day, and then you could put that ring in a car park, it'll be the same thing. The only thing is that the lights just get a bit brighter. Other than that, people are still shouting your name, people are still shouting for the opposite corner as well, so not really. For me, it doesn't. I like to perform. I like with more eyes are on me when there's more people there, you know. And I feel like Archie's the same because Archie's a slick fighter. You know what I'm saying? He's slick, he moves around, and with those type of skills, you want a lot of people to look at you. You know what I'm saying? You wanna perform, and I'm similar as well myself. So for me, the more eyes on me, the more I can, I guess, showcase my skills.
What about you then, Archie?
Yeah.
So exactly the same?
I agree with that. I've been at the big stages like tonight with obviously with TNT, and I've been on small hall shows as well. And a ring is a ring, but for me, more lights, more people. Do you know what I mean? It's better for myself. I prefer the like I say, more lights, bigger shows. That's what
bigger shows and noise.
Bigger shows, bigger audience to kind of showcase your skills. But having said that, without the we need the small hall shows as well. You know, we need it for everyone, and they're just as important as the big shows. You know, so
yeah. Well, what about this one then? Because I was doing this very job for Queensberry a couple of weeks ago when Derek Chisora had that incredible fight with Otto Wallin. Well, I say incredible fight, incredible performance where he put Otto Wallin on the canvas and the atmosphere was crackling there. It was great to be a part of, great to just to see and kind of feel the vibes in that building on that day. But Roberto Duran was there when I was commentating on some of the young up-and-coming fighters. Have you guys had anybody who's kind of, any big-time people watching you? And does that make you feel like you want to perform even more? Or once again, is it, I'm just going to do my thing, who's there or who's not?
Yeah, I've been in company with some great fighters, and obviously I've had Roy Jones being my trainer for the last...
As you do, yeah.
As you do, you know what I mean? It's crazy to sit there, but no, as you do. Roy Jones has been my trainer for the last couple of years, been on board with us with the team. So yeah, there is a... You feel like you want to impress them, I'm not going to lie, you do. You do feel like you want to impress them, but also as well, you've got to stick to what you do and make sure that you stick to your game plan as well.
Yeah, not get carried away. And well, that's always good to see. Well, here we go. This is our third fight of the evening, and Thomas Treiber is posed and ready, so we will chuck over to him and get the action underway.
Let's first welcome to the ring from Argentina, Ezequiel Gregores.
Well, here he comes, Gregores from Argentina. He is a seasoned away corner fighter with 22 bouts under his belt, and he's no stranger to the UK, having been in with some recognisable names.
To the ring from England, the undefeated John the Future Isaacs.
And here's his opponent, John Isaacs, originally from Swindon, now on the South Coast, training out of the same gym as tonight's headliner, Ryan Garner. He made his debut on the undercard of one of Sam Noakes' fights last September. He's a young fighter with hopefully many good years ahead. He started boxing under the guidance of Paddy Fitzpatrick and learnt so much from him over 10 years. Very, very shrewd individual, level head on his shoulders, and knows exactly where he wants to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 4 rounds in the super lightweight division. Brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions, along with their great sponsors, Riyadh Season, 32 Red, That Prize Guy, and Unibet. Our timekeeper is Stephen Pucci. When the bell rings, our referee in charge will be Louis Van Potch, and scoring will be Kieran McCann. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing blue, white, and black, and weighed in officially at 10 stone, 6 pounds. Coming to us from Mar del Plata, Buenos Aires, Argentina, he has 21 professional bouts to his credit. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ezequiel Gregores. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing black with white and weighed in officially at 10 stone, 9 pounds. Hailing from Swindon, Wiltshire, England, He was a stellar amateur, becoming a 3-time national champion, and now as a professional, undefeated with 1 victory. Ladies and gentlemen, here is John the Future Isaacs.
Boxers. Okay, chaps, you're both professionals, you both know the rules, you both know what I expect. When I say break or stop, break clean and take a full step back, but above all, protect yourself at all times. Any questions? Good touch, close.
Well, this is our final bout on this prelim show on the Queensberry feed. We hope that you've enjoyed what you've watched so far. We've seen some good talent. And to finish things off on the undercards, John Isaacs in the black shorts and black boots, and Gregores of Argentina in the blue, white and black shorts with those white long socks and boots. Dancing around, nice and light on his feet, is the Argentinian. And Isaacs in that orthodox stance, nice and relaxed, just popping that jab out and trying to gauge his distance.
Everything off the jab.
Good feint by Isaacs. That's what I like to see a bit more from a lot of boxers in general. Feints. You can see so much, and you can, build up so much from feints as well. And I feel like if Isaac stays on that, keeps these feints like that, you'll see what he can expose off Gregores.
Nice relaxed work this from Isaacs. He's very light on his feet. And like you pointed out, Ezra, good with those feints. Got our right hand tucked nicely to and around his chin. And Gregores got a very amateur style about him, hasn't he? Kind of light on those toes, long arm out.
Floating about around the ring.
Yeah, he's very much a mover, but then you'll also have the disadvantage of you won't be able to put too much power shot together because he's not set. But it says early in the fight, so he could just be trying to gauge Isaacs. But Isaacs doing a great job controlling the ring, popping his shots, and he's keeping him on the back foot as well. That's why he has to move.
He's been stopped twice as Gregores in his 22 fights, so he will certainly know how to survive and just keep himself out of trouble. And I think from what we've seen so far, a lot of that is just to do with being light on his toes and staying busy on his feet. He looks like he's going to be a tough one to pin into any corner or against the ropes.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, again, I know it's early, but I feel like for Isaacs, the feints will be key for him for this fight. And I feel like he'll probably find his best success after a counter, because I've seen that, Gregores, he does come in. He likes to bounce around a lot, and then he'll come in like that. He'll throw a jab and he'll jump in. That's a great, move to counter.
Last few seconds of this opening round, scheduled for 4. Nice straight right hand and lead up there from Isaacs. Good arch, nice,
yeah, good opening,
relaxing start. Expect him to just start upping the pace a little bit more as the rounds go by. It's only 4 rounds, there's only so much he can do, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think the first round there was just kind of just getting behind his jab, trying to get his distance. Like you say, he's moving around a lot, so Isaacs just trying to gauge that distance, I think. And he'll probably push on now.
Ezra, someone like Gregores, who's light on those toes, who's moving, he's dancing. What have you got to do to pin someone like that down? Or can you?
Yeah, of course. There's always a game plan against anyone, but I feel like the feints will be key for him, because you feint, he'll move. When he moves, that's when he sends a shot. Me personally, I'll go down to the body, so he can stop moving around so much. You know what I'm saying? You have to get the air out of him, so then he has to move slower, and then hopefully then he can put the work together.
Round 2.
Well, we'll see if he can do any of that in this second round. He's certainly done plenty of fainting in the opening round and did lots of good stuff, did Isaacs. And if you're just joining us, welcome along. You've missed a couple of good fights so far. You're joined by myself, Darren Rees, Archie Sharp and Ezra Taylor.
I like Isaac's feet work. Is that little half step out all the time. So he gets himself in. As he gets himself in distance, he pulls out a little bit just so he's out.
Yeah,
it's good feet work.
It's nice. And I like how also when he goes back, he keeps the lead arm out. But again, that's a shot for the right hand. You've got to send that right hand straight after. And I feel like again that would be the counter that I was on about earlier. That would be that could be a great success for Isaacs.
Gregores looks a little bit unorthodox. He doesn't really kind of do anything very tidily, does he?
No, it's a bit wild, I feel like.
Does that make him more difficult to box?
It's harder to read if he was in Isaac's shoes, you know. It's a little bit harder to read because of the being unorthodox, but also it opens up a lot of opportunities, you know.
Yeah, well said.
Oh, he got caught with a left hook there, did Isaacs from Gregores. Just switched off for a split second, and that's all it takes, isn't it?
This is what I was saying previously about, do you know what I mean, getting caught.
That's it.
It's easily done.
Well, Gregores is now full of confidence.
Isaac's just got to just hold here and just kind of trying.
Isaacs will learn a lot from this, but this is how you need to learn how to survive here.
Survive it. He's just got to try and tie him up a little bit.
And Gregores is really going for it now as he gets his man on the ropes and is just trying to unleash shots. Right uppercut followed by a lead hook, and that was a wild swing and a miss. And Isaacs needs to get back to his boxing, keep hold of his feet and get himself back into this fight, because he was doing so well until that knockdown.
Yeah, not try and slug it out. Just needs, this is exactly what he needs to do now. Hands up, work off the jab. But I wouldn't be getting involved here. We're keeping it coming out of your hands higher.
That's it.
It just goes to show, no matter what, at any time you can get caught with them small 8-ounce gloves on. You know, he was well in control.
But I like how he's regained his composure. He's getting back to what he was doing before, and that's a very good skill to have, because at this stage it's kind of fight or flight.
Yeah.
Most boxers go into fight mode. And as right now, Gregores is trying to throw the kitchen sink, and he thinks he probably can land that shot. So Isaacs needs to probably be a bit tighter on his defense. Even on the exchange, it's not worth risking it, I don't believe.
So this goes back to your question that you were saying earlier about are these fights needed? Well, this is it.
This is a perfect example, isn't it? Well, Isaacs was boxing very nicely until he got caught with a shot and found himself on the canvas. And when that shot landed, looking at the clock, I think it was around 1.5 minutes still to go, which is a long time to survive in a round, isn't it, when you've been knocked down and your legs are gone. But he did a good job, didn't he, to get himself back into it, hold on for a bit, and then get back to his boxing.
Yeah, he composed himself really well. Like I say, sometimes we were saying about fight or flight, and he got behind his boxing and used his feet work, used the jab. He's got a very long jab. He done well to get through that round. I think Wayne has got a good experienced corner there, so Wayne will be on him now and give him some instructions to go, and he's got to stay disciplined and listen to them moving into the third round.
I don't know about you, Ezra, but when I was looking at Gregores at the end of that round, he looked like he punched himself out a bit there. He started to breathe a bit heavier.
A little bit, and we'll see from this next round if he moves around as he was earlier in the fight. I know he's probably got a bit of confidence, and so this will be interesting to see what he can do with that.
Good work off the jab there from John Isaacs. Who isn't taking necessarily a cautious approach to the start of this third round. He knows that round before was a 10-8 round, so he's got some work to do here and make sure that he wins the next couple. And that was a solid right hand which got through there from Isaacs, and Gregores felt it.
And I like how he set all that up as well. He did about 3 feints and then he went in. That's much better from Isaacs.
Just got to be.
The referee calls that a push and a no knockdown, and I agree with him on that one. But Isaacs be keen to put his foot on the gas straight away, and a nice right uppercut followed by a left hook from Isaacs, who's got the bit between his teeth. He'll be frustrated from that previous knockdown which he received, and he want to do himself right.
He just needs to be careful on the exchange. He obviously he's smothering his shots a little bit, just because Gregores is making it hard and he's coming forward to him. But he doesn't want to start swinging recklessly like he did earlier and then come back with a hook like that.
Yeah, but I agree. He's got to be a little bit cute as he works.
And there's that big overhand right there from Gregores, and as he lands it, he just gives Isaac a bit of a nod. But some of the shots he's throwing are like he's bowling a cricket ball. Big, wild shots, which obviously technically aren't very good, but if they land, they're going to hurt, and he could find himself on the canvas again.
Exactly. But again, to eradicate that, it's just keeping your hands up. You know, Isaac, it looks like he's got a very relaxed style, but at this point, especially in the fight, so close to the end, he's got to keep your guard up, I guess.
Well, it's fair to say he's been in control the whole time. Other than that one shot, he's not looked in any danger, you know. So he's just got to get back to what he was doing, and I think he'll get through it. But just got to be careful with coming out with them hands low, you know.
This is a good fight for Isaac. You'll learn a lot.
Yeah, a great learning fight, this one here.
Definitely.
And also it's good for the fans, you know. Fans love it. They're all up on their feet, all interested in it.
It's a very good fight.
Last 15 seconds or so in this third round, and there was a good right hand which got through from Isaacs just a moment ago. And he's back. Well, just a reminder, after this fight, he'll be going to TNT to those in the UK and on DAZN Worldwide, where Mace Ruegg steps in to fight Liam Dillon. And then Charles Francome's back in action for the first time in over a couple of years. Karol Atauma back in a 6-rounder. Always good to see him, a very talented amateur he was. Luke McCormack, talking of talented amateurs, looks to make it 3-0. Then the co-main event is British and Commonwealth champion Louis Edmondson, where he defends his Commonwealth title against Nigeria's Kejewa. And then the big one tonight, headlining here at the Bournemouth International Centre, is Ryan Garner when he fights Spain's Salvador Jimenez for the European Super Featherweight title. So plenty to look forward to. Well, here we go, the fourth and final round of this one. If you are just switching on, John Isaacs found himself on the canvas in the second round, but as one half of my co-coms team, Archie Sharp, had said, that was the only moment really that he's been in any kind of real trouble.
And he'll come away from this fight and he'll be upset with himself knowing he's been caught, but in the long run it does do a lot for him, you know, to like learn from. So it's nice. I say it's nice. No one wants to get hit and be on the canvas, but doing it early on in his career, like now, he'll learn about coming out with his hands up and not getting caught cold.
Yeah, for sure. Good shot from Isaacs there. And like you said, Archie, he's been in control for the whole fight. You know, it's been a dominant performance, a good performance that him and his team should be proud of. Obviously, that one slip, but this is boxing and it's very easily done.
Well said.
He's coming on really well here. He got caught with a little shot there, but other than that, he's in a rhythm here. He's boxing well. He's enjoying it now.
He is enjoying himself indeed. Big smiles, and that white gum shield just shines out of the mouth of Isaacs.
And that shows heart. That shows that he's got grit and determination, you know, getting put down on the canvas and coming up and doing what he's just done.
A bit of showboating from both of them. I don't know what that was, but...
Well, that's the thing. He's got caught. He's gone down in front of his fans, right, in his hometown. You either go one way or the other, you know. You can either give it up there and then, or he's come out fighting and show he's got a lot of heart. And yeah, like I say, you learn a lot from this. Yeah, but overall, it's a good performance. 100%. Other than that one shot, it has been a good performance.
100%.
I feel like Isaacs is just starting to work out a lot of the shots which are coming from the Argentinian Gregores, because he keeps throwing the uppercut, and that big swinging hook does the Argentine, and he's missing with it more often than not now. And I think Isaacs has worked his man out.
He's in a groove now.
Soon as the referee breaks him and the action continues, Isaacs straight on that front foot, and that was a shove and a no knockdown. And both of them straight towards each other again. And Gregores just trying to sneak that right uppercut when they're inside, fighting close in the clinch. Over and over again. And he is leaving nothing in there. Leaving nothing in that ring is the Argentine. And that was a good contest.
Great fight. Great fight. I was entertained, that's for sure.
But like you guys have said, there's always so much to learn from these bouts. And when things like that, like a young fighter like Isaacs finds himself on the canvas, like you said, Archie, if it ever happens to him again, he'll remember when it happened to him and he got up and he was all right and he found his feet and he boxed and he got himself back into his groove.
Well, it's questions that no fighter wants to kind of ask himself, you know, but what do you do when you get hit and you go down or get hit with a good shot? No one really wants to ask them questions, but that question has been asked tonight, and it just goes to show he got through it. He come through, he was dominant after that, he recovered really well, so that question, that's a box ticked in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely. Again, like Archie said, you wouldn't want it, but if you have to experience something like that, you want to do it early in your career, and he did it in the best way. I think that's probably one of the better ways of dealing with going to the canvas. He came out, still had his confidence, and he still put it on Gregores, who could have made the mistake.
Ladies and gentlemen, our scoring official ringside, Kieran McCann scores it 38-37 for your winner and still undefeated, John the Future Isaacs.
Well, John Isaacs gets it, and in my eyes deservedly gets it as well. He was close, but a very good learning fight, and good to see Gregores, the Argentine, in good spirits as he just dances and ducks out of the ring there. But he's been sent back in to go out the other side, so he's got to get back in. But that brings the boxing on the prelims to an end. We've had 3 good fights. I've got to say, for me so far, Joesph Butler was a favourite of mine. I thought he was in the previous fight. I thought he was a very classy fighter and someone I'm looking forward to. Anyone else that stuck out for you two on this undercard so far?
I agree with that comment. I do agree. It's just good to see, like I say, Henry Turner backing out.
Henry Turner.
Good to see him back in winning ways.
A solid performance. You know, it took him just over half a round, didn't it, to get rid of his man, and the weight looks like it's good for him. Ezra, any standouts for you?
I'd say Butler, bad boy Butler. I said from yesterday, we were saying, I said, what a name, and he lived up to it, man. Skill set was there, you know, and the confidence. But I'll be honest, Isaacs is definitely someone to keep in my head, just because of the fight he just had. It was only a 4-rounder. He made it entertaining. Yeah, he got dropped, but he got up and he dealt with it in the best way. So if I'm going to give a trophy to anyone with the, you know, for the prelims, I'll have to give it to Isaac, just because of the heart and the grit. And as a fighter, and as a coach, you want to see if your box is made out of that stuff, you know. Like I said, it's normally fight or flight, make or break at a point like that, and clearly it made him, and I feel like that will make him develop even better as well.
But how good for us though, watching them 3 good fights, setting up a good night of boxing, it's just brilliant, you know, that's what it's all about. So I'm really excited for the rest of the card.
Yeah, well, do you know what, we started off this prelims talking about this little venue which we're in, and the location which we're in, and the opportunities which the fighters get fighting in a place like this on the South Coast, and it's filling up nicely in here this evening, and plenty of really good contests coming your way later on, as you can see on the screen. So please do stick around for those on TNT Sports and worldwide on DAZN. I think every single one of them has got the recipe to have a bit of something to keep you hooked, so make sure that you watch them. But let's finish off by just talking about you two and what's next for you two. So Ezra, you're back out in May.
Indeed I am, yeah, the 10th of May. Co-main event, it's an amazing card. It's in Nottingham, an amazing place. Lee Woods leading it versus Anthony Casey, and obviously that's a fight that doesn't need me hyping up on its own. Lee Woods always in the great fights, and then I get to fight, I believe, for the WBA or WBO International against Troy Jones. He's a game fighter, and he's my friend as well, he's my boy, but obviously we've got to put that to the side and get it cracking. But I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm very, very much excited for this one, and I'm cracking on, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good.
That fascinates me. You said he's your boy, and it reminds me a bit like Joshua Buatsi when he fought Dan Aziz. Like, they were known for being good friends, and I've got to say, I felt like Joshua Buatsi might have just taken his foot off the gas at the end of that fight. I can't see there being any chance of you doing that.
No, I ain't taking my foot off the gas, and he knows I ain't taking their foot off the gas, and I don't expect him to either, to be honest. But yeah, we sparred, we've done rounds, we are really cool. So it's a whole different dynamic for me. I've never had to punch someone that I like in the face, so we're gonna see how that feels. But like I said, I'm here for the long game. I want to become a world champion, so friend or foe, friend or not, it doesn't matter to me. I gotta get the job done. But it's always respect. It's love and respect. You know, he messaged me yesterday. I messaged him back. You know, we're wishing each other the best in training camps. You know, and then we're gonna have a good fight. And that's what I live for. You know what I'm saying? To be in good fights, to have good fights. And obviously, I'm very fortunate that it's going to be back in Nottingham as well. So yeah, man, the start of something great, that's for sure.
Well, we wish you all the best for that. Archie, you said earlier on that you were hoping for some news to come in the next couple of weeks, so we'll
next couple of days.
Next couple of days.
Stay tuned. So yeah, God willing.
We always enjoy watching you fighting, guys. Great to have your company tonight. Pleasure to call the shots of you, and to everyone at home, thanks very much for watching. Now switch over to TNT if you're in the UK. If you're elsewhere in the world, then please, if you're a DAZN subscriber, you can watch all of the action on there. We have got some great fights coming up. I've been Dan Rees, he's been Ezra Taylor, he's been Archie Sharp. Enjoy the boxing.